Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Real Texas Team podcast number 17. And we're joined today by Alex Boyajian of Chaotically Intolerant and Unstabled, the Colts podcast under the CPN banner. Ron Dog with me as always, fresh-faced and ready to go. If you hear a little bit of some squealing, it's just his baby girl. He's right there. He's got it all under control. Yeah, you see her right there. So we're going to be talking Colts, Texans. We're going to be talking rivalry. We're going to be talking history. So if you've been a Texans fan or a Colts fan for a long time, go check out both of the channels, Unstabled and That Real Texas Team podcast. And we got a podcast all for basically any AFC South fan. So buckle up and let's get ready. First of all, boys, how we doing today?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Hell yeah.
It's been a great day. Not
Day before his birthday.
such a great week.
Yeah. Well, car crashes will do that to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button, folks, and let's get into this. So let me lead off with question one. Ronnie, you can ask the next question, okay?
All right.
As a Colt fan,
Mm-hmm.
how much faith do you have in AR?
I think his physicality is. I think obviously he's a physical monster, right? Like I don't think that can be denied. I think we've seen him throw one on the fly like 70 yards or something at his pro day. And he's. I think a lot of that little injury thing was being blown out of proportion. Again, I don't know. I'm not inside the building, but. I think this thing happens a lot more often where guys get pulled off the field in OTAs in fucking May or June, just as a precautionary matter. I would say I have overall faith like a 6 out of 10 right now, just because I think the injury is a valid question, and he's young. I think young guys we did see good in the limited amount of time that we saw him last year. And he can be a monster if he's used correctly. And I think part of my lack of faith has to do with hoping the coaching improves the way they call him. Designing runs for him is just not the way you should be coaching a quarterback in this league.
Yeah, unless your name's Lamar.
Unless you're certain people.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson being the exception there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so in his sample size that you got to see last season, you're okay with everything that's going on. You've got faith in him as long as he can stay on the field.
I think he showed a lot more poise in the pocket, especially when you watch. Well, I expected him to struggle a lot in the pocket and really want to escape a lot more than he did when we saw him. And he just he was able to stand there. He stood tall in the pocket, even as it was collapsing. I mean, everyone points to that throw when Aaron Donald lit his ass up and he kind of threw it and he wrapped his arm around Donald as he was throwing it. So that takes a lot of confidence. And, he's a physical presence there. He's not a small guy. So I would say, yeah, if we kept seeing that from last year and hopefully some steps forward and he stays healthy, I would be pretty happy because that Colts team, I mean, they weren't scrubs in those 4 games. I think we kicked the shit out of the Texans like week 3 with him and a few other games. I mean, we played the Rams really close and the Rams were kind of a little bit of a surprise this year. I think we beat the Titans with him, but that was the game he got hurt. I don't have my computer in front of me, so I can't look at the schedule or anything. But we Colts fans were happy with his performance last year, and I would be happy with it again.
Good. Ron?
So you were talking about his size and his physicality. One of my questions are, would you compare him to like a early on Josh Allen?
I think he has seemed to protect the ball a little more than Josh Allen has. I would say more, yeah, the play style could seem more like Josh Allen, although I hope he doesn't seek, getting hit as much as Allen does, because
Yeah.
that's what we love about Josh Allen. He seeks out guys
Yeah.
to just get lit up because it's fun for him, and he's a fucking monster as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe you can compare him to that. I was seeing a little bit of Big Ben, although I don't really think that much. I don't personally see a Big Ben comparison, but some people do. Um, he's Josh Allen will be the most accurate, I think, but I think Richardson is kind of his own guy.
Yeah.
This is kind of like it's a normal question, but it's going to tie in some of the stuff you've been doing off camera as well as some stuff on camera. So those who may not know, on Chaotically Intolerant, they just had a long ping pong tournament, and who ended up winning that?
It's Amanda Barrett.
Okay.
Our first female player we've ever had. And she did take home the crown this year. She was dominant. She was awesome. I've, only but great things to say, even though I was the 2 seed and I did get shellacked by my own father. I had an opportunity to kind of take the crown from him. I've been eliminated. I was eliminated the first year in the finals by him. I was like the 5th seed last year, and I was one and done. And I had a bye to the semifinals because I was the 2 seed, and I did get eliminated. But we had a 1 week preseason, a 4 week long regular season, and then the Chaotically Intolerant Classic, which was the kind of like how Major League Baseball calls it, the World Series.
Okay. So my second part of that question is this: of the Colts roster, who do you think would A, do the best in ping pong, and B, who would you prefer be your partner?
So the formatting we did, if anyone is kind of curious, we did teams, but we didn't do doubles. I don't really like doubles. There's not as much movement around. I would say you want someone who's long, who, I would think more of a wide receiver, someone who has that like more hand-eye coordination. Maybe like a defensive lineman, because they have to do a lot of hand fighting.
Yeah.
But I would say, I feel like Pittman is probably the number one guy. He's the number one wide receiver. He probably has, some of the best hands on the team. Because if you've seen, I've seen how like some former major leaguers have played ping pong together, and they just play great defense. They can just catch the ball anytime. They treat the paddle like it's a glove, like a baseball glove. So I think that would transfer over pretty well to Pitt. And I would take him on my team 100%.
Okay. Solid. Ron?
So not 100%. I wasn't entirely paying attention to the Colts side of the draft, but did y'all draft a running back?
Unless it was a late round. I don't think we did. We're perfectly fine with the guys we have right now. I think
Okay,
Taylor's
so
the obvious number one. He's
yeah.
he's a top 5 back in the league, I think.
So with that being said, how do you think he's going to do with your offensive line this year?
It's going to be well, I think our line is I think it's going to improve this year again. I think some of the younger guys, obviously, they're going to get, more experience, and as you age, you get stronger. That old man strength type of thing. But I think we're thinking Ryan Kelly. Obviously, we don't know. Ryan Kelly might be done after this year, so we think he's going to have kind of like a fuck it, like this is my final year. I'm going to go out and tear the world, light the world on fire. I think Quentin Nelson's going to be Quentin Nelson. I think he's going to be good. They're going to try and get Richardson as involved in the run game as possible. So I don't think the sheer volume is going to be as high as what it was, like, especially when he run offensive player of the year, not offensive player of the year, when he won the rushing title. He had a high volume if you really look at his numbers. So he's definitely not going to run as much. I would assume 1,000 yards is like a very reasonable ask from him. I would maybe think like 12 to 1,400 if things go right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one's kind of another two-pronged question here. So first part, what is the most intimidating part about playing the Texans this season?
Well, I mean, it's CJ Stroud. I don't think that's I think that's a pretty common answer. I think anyone would say that is just CJ Stroud, his ability to just kind of tear you apart all over the field. We saw it in game 18 or game 17, week 18 last year. They start the fucking game off with a deep ball.
Yeah.
I want to say that was Nico Collins.
It was.
Just
Yeah.
really debilitating, honestly, like and demoralizing to start the game off like that too.
Yeah. Second prong of that question, what is the least intimidating thing about playing the Texans this season?
I mean, there's just a lot there. I feel like more the defensive side of the ball would be, maybe I'm gonna give you a little bit of a different one. I'm gonna say it's CJ Stroud's sophomore season. I think you can kind of have it both ways here, where you say if you're getting the upside of CJ Stroud in a sophomore year, that's a fucking problem. But if we're getting a sophomore slump from CJ, he could really handicap them as well. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a trickier answer. I'm going to go with both. CJ Stroud
Okay.
for both.
All right. I feel like that's fair. That's fair. Because it really kind of
he's going to decide the team, it feels like. That's kind of
yeah.
he will make or break it. And I think that's most teams though with your quarterback.
Okay. Ron, you got another one?
So I'm like I said before, I haven't really paid too much attention to the Colts in general, but how do you think y'all's defense is going to hold up season long?
Well, I was actually quite against our first round pick. He was a defensive lineman. He was medically retired 3 years ago. Had the exact same neck injury as Peyton Manning. Had the same neck surgeon as Peyton Manning. I really thought we should have taken Cooper DeJean. I know the pressure rate was low for what we got, even though our sack numbers were really good when we would get there a lot, but when we weren't getting there, we really weren't getting there. So I understand that. I was really unhappy with the secondary. I really thought Cooper DeJean all the way. I thought we should have gotten him in the second round when he was available. I thought we should have traded up and gotten him. Although, again, Adonai Mitchell, our second round wide receiver, I mean, this was one of the deepest wide receiver drafts in NFL history. So, well, hopefully it is. And Adonai Mitchell could have been like top 10, top 20 talent. But again, I think it's super difficult. I don't love when people try and judge draft picks before we even see what's coming out. Why, judging, was this a good pick at this time? It's like we'll never really know until about 4 or 5 years from now. But again, if it's going to be anything, it's going to be our secondary. We didn't address the secondary until late in the draft anyways, and I thought we should have addressed it so much earlier. It seems like they're putting their marbles into or all the marbles into, hey, it was the defensive line's fault why our secondary was getting torched. And we did have a lot of injuries in the secondary. But I just feel like that's been the same excuse for the last 2 to 3 years where it's like these guys just can't stay healthy, but when they're healthy, they're really good. And it's just I'm getting sick and tired of hearing that.
Okay. Valid. Obviously, last season, the AFC South had 3 teams that if things go a little bit differently in Week 18, any one of them could have actually won the division.
Well, we know the Jags had no shot at it. I mean, they just
well, I mean, yeah, they shat the bed pretty ridiculously against
if you run the same play to save your season, you run the same play twice in a row, like that, you deserve to just lose. You don't deserve to even be put on like a primetime spot.
Yeah.
And then they gave Trevor Lawrence millions of dollars to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So my question is this. Knowing that the top 3 teams in the AFC South last season, I'm gonna say the Titans. All 4 of the teams in the AFC South have improved at least by a step or 2.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the most realistic shot at winning the South this season?
I mean, the
All
Texans are
biased
the
aside.
favorites. The Texans are the favorite right now. Like I have been very, very positive about you guys. Like normally I will talk shit. Last year I said I'm sick of the Jaguars. Like, why are we going to keep doing this? You know, because they won that playoff game against the Chargers. They got in on the last week, and in that playoff game against Tennessee and Jacksonville. I was like, man, I just don't. I don't see what you guys are seeing. I don't really see anything. I still don't really see it with Jacksonville. We were looking at their wide receivers. I mean, teams don't always have like a great number one. I mean, look at the Chiefs this year. Like, what number one? That their number one was a tight end, and their wide receivers were dropping balls constantly. We didn't even think they would win a playoff game because of their issues with the drops. But they solved it. But again, that's what the Patriots did, and that's what the Chiefs are going to do. I still don't really see what anyone else is seeing with the Jaguars. I have no faith in them whatsoever. I think they're going to be good for 8 wins. They're going to be good for 8 wins. They're going to win some games in the division. They're probably going to beat us in in Jacksonville again. But they don't look like a great team, and I don't have anything to back that up right now. I could throw stats at you, but and they can throw stats at me as well, but I just don't see a massive improvement. And to make big jumps, you have to make big signings sometimes, because who are they going to draft? I mean, who did they get in the draft to give them any faith in their own ability? So I don't really see the Jags. I think the Titans are probably going to be a little better than the Jags. They keep trying to make Trevor Lawrence make me think he's elite, and I just you're not going to make me think Trevor Lawrence is elite. I said it on last week's episode. I was like, Trevor Lawrence seems like the perfect guy. 10 years down the line, we're going to write him off, or he's going to say he was written off, and then he's going to have a resurgence, like a Geno Smith type. Like, I feel like we're going to have a great story. He might not even do it in Jacksonville. And again, it's not like he's a bad quarterback. There's probably 10 teams in the league right now that would take him as a quarterback over what they have. But it's just not Super Bowl or playoff contending quarterback. I feel like, I think I said next year, 2025, 26 is their do or die season now, because Stephon Diggs is going to come out into free agency after this season. I don't know what you guys are going to do. I think you guys are going to re-sign him anyways, because Stroud's still going to be on that cheap deal. And there's a few other big name receivers that are kind of older that the Jags will have to take a chance on. And then if it doesn't work next year, you just tear the whole thing down and restart and keep some of the key pieces. But like, you're trying to tell me Christian Kirk is your number one guy? who is their number one guy? Like,
At the moment, it would have to be Kirk. He's
like
the only reliable.
You can't make me think he is a playoff team's number one wide receiver. And just pass catcher in general. It's what the hell is his name? The running back, Etienne. Like, that's probably their number one passing threat, because he is such a great dual threat guy.
I would sprinkle in Evan Ingram, because he went over 1,000 and had 100 catches last season.
Ooh.
I mean, that was number one for tight ends.
I know. But again, as a wide receiver, and you don't have a Travis Kelce there, Evan Ingram just does not scare me as a great team's guy. And I think the Chiefs, you could supplement it by saying, wow, their defense is fucking awesome. They have a great defense. And Evan Ingram just is not enough of a guy to scare me.
No, I'm with you on that. I feel like Travis Kelce is more complete than Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a wide tight end, and then Kelce can actually block pretty damn well.
Well, I don't think, because we do the Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski comparison, like, oh, who's the better guy? And you just can't. I mean, it's a new breed of tight end. This is completely like not comparable. I have a hatred of Joe Namath, but if you wanted to compare Joe Namath to Peyton Manning, like, their stats are just completely different, because Peyton Manning came up in a more pass happy league. Joe Namath They threw the ball 10 yards. They were talking about, wow, what a bomb from Joe Namath throwing it 10 yards down the field. I didn't even know he could get it down the field that far.
Yeah.
That's why I equally do not like Joe Namath, because you look at his stats, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. He had a losing record as a starter. And I understand it's a different era of the game. But why are like Jets fans saying, oh, if Joe Namath says he's the guy, like they did with Zach Wilson, then he is the guy. Then we respect his opinion, because he's just not. We're not. If you listen to Joe Namath, Zach Wilson would still be the quarterback of the Jets right now.
Yeah. Well, look, Joe Namath, I feel like got even more attention because of how ridiculous he was off
Yeah.
the field. I mean, homeboy was like wearing like fur coats and smoking cigars on the sidelines. He did that one underwear commercial where he's just like, all Calvin Kleined up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that moment with Susie Colbert where he's hammered on the sidelines, and it's just like, "Hey, Susie, you wanna do some stuff?" Dude, literally, and Susie's like, "Okay, back to you guys." But yeah, no, that's why Joe Namath is forever the GOAT. But so with Jacksonville not being too big of a threat, with the Titans, you think improving, where does that leave the Colts with the AFC South?
I'm thinking number 2.
I think it's going to be right down to the wire again. And I pray, honestly, I kind of pray it is. That was really fun, a really fun stretch of football to watch, whether, honestly, if you're on the Colts or the Texans side. Every game felt do or die. I want to say do we play you guys week 18 again? I think they scheduled that again.
I thought we played y'all week 1.
No,
we definitely play week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, and then
I think it's the Jags week 18.
Oh, it might be.
If I'm not mistaken.
Then it is the Jags. It's in Indianapolis. I thought they might have scheduled us late. But I think it's the AFC South. It feels like no matter how good or bad you are, I think it's going to come down to the final two. Like this, I think this last 5 years, especially after Luck retired, that really like shifted the balances of the universe in the AFC South, and it just kind of knocked everything out of whack for a little while. And then it seems like everyone's starting to level out a little bit, and we're getting. It was almost like a big reset of like, okay, now everyone restart, and now we're getting great battles. Whether the teams are 7-9 going into week 18, or they're actually okay, they're actually okay teams. We're getting really good battles. So I think as of right now, it's Houston and Indianapolis, but I could flip a coin on it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I feel like all of the teams in the division could win 8 games.
Yeah,
pretty realistically.
You could make a case for anyone. That's the most fun part about this. Like, you could easily make a case for anyone to win that division, because we cannibalize so much, and we also do struggle against the other 28 teams 28 teams in the league.
Yeah.
So my question would be, I asked what was his name, Trevor, last week. I asked him the same question. Do you think between the Colts and the Texans it's going to be a sweep either way, or do you think it's going to be a 1-1?
I think it'll be 1-1 again.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just super hard to sweep in your division. We swept the Texans last year, which did really shock me, but it's still really hard for either side to sweep.
The Titans?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we swept the Titans, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all swept the Titans.
Well, except for the Jags.
Oh, yeah.
They lost the most important game they possibly could have.
Yeah. We play week 8 and week 1.
Week 8 and week 1. I hate
week 1. Week 1 is going to go either way.
The NFL knows, like, these are the two teams. Like, you would think they would schedule a late matchup as one great viewing for the NFL, and great numbers for them. But also, I think it's a little bit not like fair, but you have these two teams that are battling. You get to have them battle down the stretch rather than have it early, because those games could end up not mattering at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true. And
I see
Houston
it
had a
as
really rough stretch down at the last four. It's like Miami, Kansas City, Baltimore, and then I think it's the Titans to end the year.
Week 18 would be Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because they fucked it up and now they have all divisional matchups week 18, which should not that just should not happen. I don't understand why they have that.
Yeah, we have 3 games in 11 days. Like that's gonna be rough for us.
You guys go to London at some point?
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure. I mean, I know we
Yeah.
got the Hall of Fame game, but that's about it. I'm not sure if we're playing out of the States yet.
Yeah, I just can't stand the international games. And then I see people say, well, they're trying to grow the game. I'm like, this is an American game. If you
Yeah.
want, it just makes sense. Like, I don't expect the World Cup to change their times for us, even when it's the United States playing. I don't expect them. I expect them to do it for their audience. So, and I get it, but it's not. It's just not. The players hate it too. That's the other thing. But the NFL really doesn't care what the players.
Yeah, because
actually
you got jet lag to deal with, and you got to get used to, the different times up there. Just all these different factors that plays into a player's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't week 1 like Green Bay and Philadelphia?
They go to Brazil on a Friday.
And if I'm not mistaken, they're not supposed to wear green because
They're not allowed to.
Yeah, there's some
It's
sort
gonna
of gang.
It's gonna be all whites.
Well, it's not gang. It's just the home team has a fierce rivalry, and they just say no one is allowed to wear green no matter what. And
going back to the old Blues.
Why would the NFL think it's okay to play that? Why? What is their decision making process of we're going to this specific stadium? I'm sure they have more soccer stadiums in Brazil, and they're choosing that one.
Yeah.
Trying to start a war over here.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could bring back one Colts legend to
T.Y. Hilton
to coach and or play for this season only, who and why?
That's a thinker.
T.Y. Hilton.
No, I'm honestly fine with our wide receiver core.
He's our kryptonite.
Who would I bring back? That's a great question. I feel like I would like, I don't know.
Which
Andrew Luck or Manning is like the most generic answer you can give, but I do want to give Richardson a shot at it. I don't want to just take the ball out of his hands before he even got it in his hand.
But he also said coaching as well. Like one Colt's great to either coach or play. So I mean, you could bring back Peyton to coach AR, but I mean, I don't know if
he would be quarterback coach or Luck. Luck is coaching a high school team right now. Peyton doesn't seem he still doesn't really seem too thrilled with the organization per se. I feel like that could be a distraction. So I would go with Luck. Luck still, he shows up for like the Pagano cancer event every year. He was there this year. So I think he would probably be the best option as a quarterback coach.
Okay. Hell yeah. Ron, I think you'll get the last question here, and then I think Alex has got to go. So,
all right.
If you guys have any more, I can stay for a few more minutes.
Okay.
What would be your way too early season prediction, like record-wise?
I think I would love to see an improvement on last year. I feel like a 10-7 is gonna probably win the division again. So yeah, I guess 10-7. I think we went through it, and maybe we actually went through the schedule, and I gave us 11-6, I think, but there's always going to be a game that you expect to win, and you're just going to lose. A classic
like us
trap
with the
game.
Panthers.
Yeah.
Just a classic trap game. So I guess like 10-6, and hopefully that could win the division, or at least put us in a tie for the division.
Okay. Let's just say the worst does happen, and Anthony Richardson is not able to complete a full season. With old man time himself, Father Time, Joe Flacco, as the backup, do you think that the Colts would kind of have another Gardner Minshew type season, or do you think that some of the magic that Joe had might be gone now?
That's just a coin flip again. I don't. Whenever we do this, I was like shocked. Phillip Rivers did what he did, and he was as good as he was when he was there. I mean, we saw what happened with Matt Ryan. He was horrible. He was so bad. I don't know, man. I mean, he could maybe get us. I think it's a good enough squad surrounding him. He could keep us above water and at least keep us in the playoff hunt. I don't have faith that he could get us into the playoffs. Maybe we could again sneak in and because when it comes down to one game to go in the season, and like a game we had, it is a coin flip. That is a coin flip. I don't care what you say. That is an absolute coin flip, no matter how good the teams are, because of any given Sunday. Like, that can happen. Any team can beat any team on any day. It just depends on how well they prepare. We saw what happened in Jacksonville in 21. So I would say it's my confidence would shoot down a lot. But it's Joe Flacco. You never know what he has left.
Do you think he makes that throw to Mike Goodson or whatever?
It would. That was I think it was Tyler Goodson, but that was.
Yeah, Tyler. Sorry.
The thing is, he got torn apart for it, and it was a bad throw. But if you watch the defensive lineman coming in, he did kind of force Minshew to make an awkward throw. It wasn't, again, I think Richardson probably makes that throw. I think Andrew Luck makes that throw. I think Peyton Manning makes that throw. I think a guy like Will Levis probably makes the throw. It wasn't an easy throw. I don't want to get that twisted. I don't see it as an easy throw. And he's coming in. You have to assume he's going to try and swat the ball away. And you don't want to end the game on a swatted pass. I think that would have been a lot worse than Goodson dropping the pass. It wasn't a great throw. It wasn't a catchable ball by any means. He probably should have caught it. But again, it wasn't the most catchable ball on the planet. It's not like he was standing there with his hands right here and he had 10 yards of daylight going down the field and he just turned and went too quick. It wasn't, his momentum was going the wrong way. So I don't know if he makes that throw. He's not as mobile. Minshew is more mobile than Joe Flacco.
Okay. Ron?
That's all my questions. That's all I got.
All right, I got this last one. What is the least improved? No, hold on. What's the most improved area for the Colts in the offseason?
We didn't add that much in free agency.
No, it was mostly just re-signing.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with our free agency stuff. I really would have liked to say the defensive backfield. I would really like to say the secondary. I think we did a great job of keeping everyone. I would just with our draft capital, I would say the defensive line was the biggest improvement. What we did in the draft. You could say wide receiver too with Mitchell, but I'm confident saying the defensive line.
Okay. All right. Last question. Skittles or M&Ms?
Oh, I'm a Skittles guy. I'm not a big chocolate guy. I have my moments. I think it just chocolate can be a little overpowering sometimes. Be a little too sweet for me. Just in that flavor, kind of the type of flavor that chocolate is. It can be a little too much. I like the more of like the sour sweet type of candy.
Yeah.
Tart
Skittles
candy.
sours are pretty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tear your tongue apart, but
oh God,
I'll deal with that.
But they're delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's honestly, unless Ronnie's got anything else, I think we're at a pretty good spot to go and wrap this whole thing up.
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Awesome.
Well, folks, you made it this far. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Go over to Chaotically Intolerant. They've got a lot of great content coming out. They've got a lot of shorts coming out. They do baseball coverage. They talk football. They talk ping pong tournaments. And you might even see a random appearance by yours truly every now and then. So
Yeah.
go ahead, like, subscribe, everything they've got. Hit up Unstabled. Watch Alex and Jeff on Under My Umbrella, where they get to hang out and whatnot. Talk pony ball.
Pony ball.
Good,
Yeah.
like disgraceful nickname because I call the Jags the Glitter Kitties, and they don't like that. They don't like that at all.
Do you think are they softer than Titans fans, or is it kind of one and two?
Oof. I don't think they're softer than Titans fans now. Titans
I
fans,
feel like once Jags fans have gotten good, they've been a little cockier than they should be. But when they're bad, I think they realize it. The Titans, like, if you say anything bad about the Titans ever, I feel like you just get swarmed with people.
literally.
Like, you say Will Levis might not be the guy. That's not even saying he's not. You just say, well, he might not be the guy. And they're like, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. You've never even watched Will Levis. Like, you don't. I'm like, okay, I've seen him complete a pass to himself in a game he's lost. So that's all I really need to see. He likes to throw the ball downfield to DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like those are really the only highlights I've seen in the Oilers uniforms, of course.
Yeah, See, and when you criticize the Titans from a Texan standpoint, all they say is like, "But you guys are trying to steal our colors." Blah, 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 blah. It's
They
like,
were our colors first, bitches.
And then I hear, well, the Baltimore Colts didn't give it back to the city of Baltimore. They didn't give the Colts to Baltimore. I was like, yeah, because we are still the Colts.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like we just changed cities and then just completely rebranded the team and we were like, yeah, we're not giving it back to you anymore. Like we still wear basically the same uniforms.
Yeah, no, it's minor changes.
Yeah, the only like change we've had is like the stripes on the jersey. There's more stripes up here than there are here now. That's it.
Yep. All right. Well, folks, like I said, hit the like, subscribe button, and most of all, be good people.
Be good people.